Hi, this is Marcus Curtis from Marcus Curtis Music, and today we're going to talk about this remote controlled pedal by Interval. And this pedal will control any of the Behringer X32 mixers. It will also control the Midas mixers and the Behringer Wing mixers as well. So what exactly will it control? Well, let's take a look.
Hit the button on the right to go to the strip on the right. Hit the button on the left to go back a strip. Hit the button in the middle to go to the main module page. Once you're there, the button on the right will take you up a number, and the button on the left will take you down a number. Once you get the module you want, hit the button in the middle, and a new set of strips will load. Now you can use these strips for anything. You can assign them to any function you want. Right now they're assigned to the faders, and we're raising the faders in real time. And to raise the volume of the fader, just hold down the right button. To lower the volume of the fader, you hold down the left button. And to change the fader, you just click over to the next strip. And each strip is assigned a different fader. Right now we're controlling the bus faders in channel 1. We can also use this foot switch as a tap tempo delay, and we just tap out the tempo and we're good to go, up to 4 delays. We can also use the foot switch to control the USB thumb drive music player, and it'll start and stop by hitting the center button, and we scroll through various songs with the right and left buttons.
Interval has sent me this foot switch to use with my Behringer X32 producer. Now, I'm not being paid by Interval, and I'm not endorsed by Interval in any way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this thing through some tests. I'm going to do an analysis on it, and at the end of the video I'm going to tell you what I really think about this foot switch.
Interval sent this case when they sent me this foot switch. I don't think this case normally comes with this foot switch, but you can find these things on Amazon for about 12 bucks. They're fairly cheap. I also got a USB cable, and I got this instruction page that basically shows you how to interface it with your router and how to interface it with the Behringer mixer itself. Okay, so this foot switch is battery charged, and that's what the USB cable is for. You just plug this thing into the foot switch, and then you plug the other end into a USB outlet somewhere. And I get about 10 hours off of one charge, and once you plug it in, you'll see a set of blue lights that come on, and when it's fully charged, those blue lights will go off. And as you can see, there's the blue lights right there.
So let's go ahead and plug this foot switch in. This is how you interface this pedal with the Behringer mixer.
Okay, for starters, we don't take the foot switch and plug it straight into the Behringer via Ethernet connection. So we're going to use the gray cable for the Behringer unit, and then we're going to use the blue cable for the foot switch. And we're just going to plug it in via Ethernet on the back of the foot switch. Now we're going to go find the router. We're going to plug the Behringer mixer into the router, and then we're going to plug the foot switch into the router as well. And the next step is to go to the mixer and turn the mixer on. And then after that, we're going to go find the foot switch and turn the foot switch on. And once we do that, it's going to start its boot up process, and it's going to look for the Behringer mixer. Now we're good to go. Okay, this foot switch is actually pretty easy to use. You click the right button to select something you want to control. Right now, channel 3, channel 4. And the middle button will mute, and then to raise the volume you just hold down the right button, and to lower the volume you're going to hold down the left button. And once you get to the desired effect you want to, you can use that center button again to unmute. And then you can also raise the volume again if you so want to do. Now click it again to go to channel 5. And click it again to go to channel 6. So it's fairly simple, as you can see. And we're going to hit that center button and hold it down. And now we're going to go to the module page. And we're going to go up to myself. So I would use this module to maybe adjust my in-ears. Then we're going to go back to the module, and then we're going to go up to effects. So we're going to adjust the volume on all the effects in this module. So we can go up again, and we can go over to the effects delay. So in here we're going to adjust the tap tempo. Right now it says wrong effects because there's a reverb on effects 1. Go to effects 2, and now we can just tap find whatever tempo we want to do. And we're not limited to controlling the tempo for just one delay. If you have other delays set up, you can navigate to that effect, and then you can just tap the tempo for that delay as well. So let's go to the main module page, and we're going to go up one more, and we're on the user bank, and one more, we're on the player. And it works pretty well. You just select the song you want to play, and then the time of that song is going to load, and you just hit the center button, and now that song is going to start playing. Slight delay when it turns the song off. Okay, so we can go to the main module page, and we're going to go up one more till we get to snapshot, and you can load certain snapshots with this remote as well. Okay, you can customize this foot switch to control anything you want, and one way to do that is to turn the foot switch on, and then you're going to see a way to connect to the foot switch, and you'll see My Foot 66. So we can connect to the foot switch wirelessly from a computer device. There's our IP address. Okay, so I'm going to make a note of that, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go and connect to My Foot 66. It appears in our internet connection, and once we connect to that, then we're going to open up a browser, and we're going to type in that IP address that we took note of earlier. And once we type that IP address in, we're going to basically have access to the inside of the foot switch so that we can program it. So you see we access it from the browser, as you can see. Okay, so there's 3 tabs here up at the top: Modules, Settings, and System. And if you scroll down, you'll see here's our layout for button sensitivity and fader speed, so you can adjust all of that. Okay, and then in this Settings tab, this is where we really program and fine-tune the foot switch. And we can set up macros and that kind of thing. In the Systems tab, we need to be connected to the internet for this one, and this is how we update firmware and that kind of thing. So if we want to unlock like modules or do anything that's internet related, we need the System tab to work. Right now we're not connected to the internet. And then over here in the left hand corner, we can click the on button, and the assistant comes up, and the assistant will basically tell you what each thing in this little GUI does. Okay, this little graphics user interface. Hidden modules will take modules out of the foot switch and hide them from you, so they won't display inside the foot switch. Okay, a second way to edit the foot switch and update it is to plug it into a router. Then we're going to hold down the left and the right button of the foot switch, and this will bring us to a system menu. Then we're going to scroll over till we get to the sprocket. And once we get to that sprocket, we're going to hit the center button, and then that's going to take us to an IP address. And then what we're going to do is go to the computer, and then we're going to open up our X32 Edit app, and we're going to use this to check our customization in real time. Okay, and the next thing for us to do is to open up a browser. We'll go ahead and do that now. And we insert the IP address, and now what it's doing is it's checking for a cable connection. And you got basically 3 steps here, okay? And as you go along and you click the little arrow next buttons, go to the next step, it's going to have you close out the browser. And then we're going to reopen the browser again, and then we're going to type in that same IP address. And here we are in the foot switch. Now we can customize it. Now we have internet access. Okay, and you can see we have a red lock, which means that we need the license for this. But if your license is installed on the foot switch, you can click this little button, and it unlocks all the licenses. And these are 7 modules. You can get these 7 modules in a package. We can adjust the fader speed as we raise and lower it simply by moving this little dot here to the left. Okay, and over here you'll see in the Settings tab, this is where you set up macros, and you can do some really fine tuning. Then in the Systems tab, this is where we can update firmware and do a number of other things. We just turn the wizard on, and the wizard will help guide you through some of this stuff. But for now, let's just update the firmware. I'll show you how to do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit the browse button, and then you're going to look for the file that we've downloaded from the Interval website. So here's our firmware we've downloaded from the Interval website, the latest version, and now it's beginning its update process. Now when you update the firmware, be sure not to turn anything off. Let it go through the entire process when you update the firmware, and it's going to take any kind of customization and it's going to set everything back to default. So you got to be aware of this when you update the firmware. So what we'll do now is head on over to the site, the Interval website, and you can check out this foot switch for yourself. Just type Interval foot switch in the search, and then it's going to come up. It'll be the one on top usually, and there it is. Click on that, and their web page loads. And once your web page loads, you can see that this foot switch, it works with the Behringer X32 models, it works with the Midas mixers, and it works with the Behringer Wing mixer as well. It's modestly priced, $69 for the foot switch, and you can get all 7 modules for $99, about under $200 for the whole foot switch. Okay, so in the final analysis, what do I think of the foot switch that's been provided by Interval? Well, why don't we cover the things that need improvement first? And the first thing is the manual. The manual is a jumbled mess. It's basically a PDF of a few pages, and these pages have pictures on them, and the pictures have arrows that point to each other. And some pictures have 2 or 3 different arrows going in different directions. It's hard to glean any information at all from that manual that you would find useful. I mean, you read through it, it's more confusing than informative. Okay, and then the next thing is you can go to the website, and on the website they have how-to videos, but they're all done in French. So it's really hard to get the information you need to use this foot switch. So I think that is the first thing. The second thing is that the learning curve is sort of high on this, and the pedal does a lot, and you can program it to do whatever you want it to do. But the learning curve is high, it's hard to figure out. It took me 2 days messing with the pedal just to get it to work with the mixer, and to program it the way I wanted it to work. I started making progress after a while, but I had to take notes, I had to do a lot of trial by error, and it was really frustrating at times, but I finally got the thing to work. Once it works, it's great, but getting the information you need to get the thing to work in the first place is sort of hard, okay? Which leads to the third thing, and that is the music player. Now, the music player does not have a record function. So if you are using the player module in the pedal, there's no way to record. I think an improvement would be an option to record songs during a rehearsal time, or maybe when you're in a live performance and you have a thumb drive into your X32, maybe you want to record something, and having that feature would really help. And the player feature, the player module, will not work with the Wing. It'll work with the Behringer X32 series and the Midas series mixers. And the fourth and final thing is the wireless feature found in the foot switch itself. Now you can take this foot switch and place it next to your pedal board and use wireless capabilities to connect to the router. But the problem is it will only connect to a 2.4 gigahertz router. It will not connect to a 5 gigahertz router for some reason. I don't know why. So if you have a 5 gigahertz router, you're not going to be able to use the wireless feature in the pedal. I think this is an oversight. Now you can still use the pedal because it has an Ethernet connection, and you can use an Ethernet cable to connect to a 5G router, but you lose the wireless capability. And to me, that's the biggest deal. When I first got the pedal in, I tried to connect it to my 5G router for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't connecting, and finally I had to use an Ethernet cable to get the thing to work. But once I connected it, it worked fine. So now let me tell you about the features I like about this foot switch. And the very first feature is the tap delay function. Okay, that's worth the cost of admission alone. That's a great module. So when the song starts, you can tap out the delay. When the vocalist sings, his lyric will be in timing with the song. Very useful feature.
The second thing I like is the fact that it's very easy to navigate, very easy to use once you get it set up. And you can get to sections very quickly and adjust things very quickly. So if you're in a band and you don't have somebody running sound, you can sort of make up for that with this foot switch. So guitar player's playing and he begins his guitar solo, you can turn him up. But it's been my experience you've always had to turn guitar players down. Well, you can do that with this pedal as well. The third thing I like about this pedal is that it's rugged. I mean, it's road ready. This thing is built like a tank and the battery lasts for a long time when you recharge it. The fourth thing I like about it is that it's modestly priced, okay? The pedal itself costs $69. And then the modules are $20 each, and there's 7 modules. Well, you can buy all the modules together in a package, I think, for like $99. Now, correct me if I'm wrong on this pricing, but I think that's $170 is total out of pocket for the whole package. So if you only want one module, $69 and $20 for a tap delay. So for, what do you got, $89 for a tap delay pedal. So what do you think about this foot switch from Interval? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think it's modestly priced? Do you think it's useful? Have you used it before? Have you seen it before? Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this pedal. And that's going to be all for this video. I want to encourage you to like and subscribe. That keeps me going. That keeps me making these videos. But also, more than anything else, I want to thank you for watching. I appreciate your support. Thank you.